Hello everyone, you all have seen the demos. AI agents that book flights, answer customer questions, schedule meetings, they all look like magic. But here's what nobody tells you. When you try to ship the same agent to production, it tumbles. I have been building AI agents, and today in this video, I'm going to show you 6 reasons why most agent demos fail when they hit the real world. The gap between reality and demo is way wider than you think. Even Andre Kapathy has recently said demos don't excite him anymore. So without wasting time, let's dive in. First, the Happy Path Fallacy. Demos runs on Rails. They're designed for a golden path where everything happens exactly as planned. But production, it's an infinite branching tree of chaos. Here's what I mean. In your demo, the user might say, book a flight from New York to San Francisco. Clean, simple, predictable. But in the real world, the user might say, book a flight like the one I took last Christmas, but cheaper and with a window seat. See the difference? Now your agent has to retrieve historical booking data, parse ambiguous temporal references, compare the current price with the past bookings, and filter by specific seat requirements, all from a single conversational query that assumes the context your system may not have. And it gets worse. Most errors start before your LLM even processes the input. If you are building voice agent, the speech to text model alone typically has 5 to 15% word error rate. And in noisy environments or with accents, the error rate can spike to 20 or even 30. Another issue is the wrong endpointing, where system prematurely cuts off the user mid-sentence, assuming they have finished speaking. All of this injects garbage data into your system, which can lead to hallucinations or break the system entirely. And let's not forget adversarial inputs. Without guardrails, it's the wall your agent will hit. The demo works because everyone stays inside the lines, but in real world, the script breaks. Now let's talk about tools. In the demo, tools are simple mocks. They always return clean, expected results. But in production, tool calling fails in unique ways and each demands specific recovery logic. And not all failures are equal. To build a real system, you have to visualize these failures branching into two categories. On the left, we have syntactic errors. These are the mistakes that LLM makes. For example, a hallucinated name, it can generate a tool name that is not even provided in the list. The other group is the systemic failures. In real world, tools are actually the APIs that your agent will be calling when required. And an API can have different outcomes. For instance, error 401, which means now the user needs to be re-authenticated again. Another could be error 500, which means something happened wrong at the server and you might need to retry again. Or another could be an empty results where the tool got executed successfully but returned nothing. Now, all these are not LLM mistakes, but this is the reality. In demo, you pretend that these don't exist, but in production, this happens more often than you think. Another big issue is the agentic loop trap. The demo never gets stuck because the tool always works, but in production, without setting the right limits, the agent can loop infinitely, calling the broken tool over and over, burning through your API budget. And finally, API evolution. In real world, APIs evolve over time. The response format changes, fields get deprecated, data distribution changes, and if you're not evolving your agent too, it can break the system silently. Now let's talk about the latency issues. This is what I call the UX killer. In the demo, you can hide the wait times easily with editing, cut out the boring parts, speed up the footage, but in production, users have to wait in real time. And when an API takes more than 10 seconds and your agent stays completely silent, that's very awkward. You need heartbeat signals, streaming response, or thinking indicators to maintain engagement. And then there's a cumulative latency. If your agent takes 3 sequential API calls to answer one question, that's a long wait. And then there is something I call as reasoning tax. For complex queries, the model burns time thinking before it ever answers. And this thinking plus the API latency makes the interactions painfully slow. And the worse, more thinking doesn't necessarily mean better output. Alright, number 4, the compounding failure trap. Your demo shows the happy path at 100% success, but production reveals the mathematical details. Accuracy is multiplicative, not additive. Let me show you the math. Say you have a multi-step agent flow, 3 tool calls, and then a final response. And each step is 95% accurate. That sounds pretty good, right? But the total success rate in this case is 0.95 times 0.95 times 0.95, which is around 86%. At 5 steps, you're down to 77, and at 10 steps, you're down to 60. And this gets even worse with multi-agent architecture, where you have the supervisor agent, routing logic, or agent handoff, and each decision point becomes a failure surface. The more number of agents gets involved, the faster the reliability decays. Number 5 is the lack of governance. Demos are static, you built it, test it, and lock it. But production is a living system. It evolves constantly. Take prompt versioning as an example. You start with one prompt, make a small change, and quickly realize that this one fix breaks the other 3. So without proper version control and rollback mechanism, you can't safely update your agent without risking the production outages. Second is the human in the loop evaluation. Your demo agent never encounters an edge case that it can't handle because it's scripted. But production agents hit unexpected scenarios very often. They need clear escalation paths to hand off to humans, otherwise they will make stupid guesses. And the third one is the evaluation deficit. You tested your agents once or twice manually and that's it. But production needs something sophisticated. You need to have robust evaluation suite like regression test, LLMs judge, and on top of that, a manual human testing. Without that, you can't progressively improve without breaking the system. And finally, number 6, the memory and the context problem. Your demo starts fresh every single time, but users expect agents to remember them, their conversation history, their preferences, and the past interaction. And managing this long-term memory without leaking PII information and violating privacy regulations is non-trivial. And finally, context window decay. Your demo agents features short conversations, but production conversation grow long, which can lead to several issues like lost in the middle syndrome, where your agents start ignoring critical instructions buried deep in the context. And most demos don't test or plan any of this. So here's the bottom line. Demos are designed to showcase the happy path. They are built for perfect scenarios with clean data and controlled environment. But production demands you to handle every edge case, every failure mode, and every unpredictable user. So if you're building production agents, you need to think beyond the demo, build for chaos, because that's the only way your agent can survive. Thanks for watching. If you found this useful, please drop a like and subscribe. And if you're building agents in production, I would like to hear your stories in comments. See you in the next one.